Hello again, everyone. Edwin Learnard back once again. In this YouTube astrological segment, I'm going to be giving you my Scorpio October 2019 horoscope forecast part 2 of 2. And yes, this does apply and pertain to the Sun, Moon, and Ascendant. Anyway, people, first thing up is, well, as far as October goes, Mars will be in Virgo from the 1st until the 4th. So the 11th house is what will be emphasized and highlighted. Now, situations with friends, acquaintances, people you know in groups, clubs, and organizations may be more contentious and acrimonious than usual. There may be more arguments over diet, health, hygiene, someone's routine, punctuality, reliability. It could also be a time to Scorpio. If you are unattached, you may connect with a Virgo, Sun, Moon, or Ascendant person, or simply one that embodies Virgo characteristics. It could be for a sexual liaison, could be someone that was a friend where it evolves into something stronger, or an acquaintance. It could be a person you meet at a group, club, or organization. This person might have a very strong impact on your future as well. And also, again, the situation with not just what I mentioned before, but stepchildren as well, if applicable, can be contentious as well. There might be some battles with Virgo friends, Virgo acquaintances, Virgo stepchildren, if applicable, and they could be Sun, Moon, or Ascendant people, or simply ones that embody those traits. There might be a lot of energy and vitality injected into Virgo, like aspirations and goals. And it could be, for example, doing things which require statistical work, data, could be computer programming, accounting, anything which requires strong attention to detail, data entry, or again, computer programming, something with diet, health, or hygiene. So anyway, well, next thing up, as far as October goes, Mars will be in Libra from the 4th until the 31st, so the 12th house is what will be emphasized and highlighted. So at this time, one way this may manifest, well, first of all, you may have a little bit less vitality and energy than usual at this time, because you're talking about Mars, planet of energy and vitality, and then the 12th house of restrictions and limitations. There might be battles in solitude and private regarding matters with the law. It could be legal battles. It could be matters just simply over fairness, justice, what's right for you. It could also be a time where you may, if you're unattached, well, it could even be, in some cases, could be a clandestine sexual connection with a Libra, Sun, Moon, or Ascendant person, or simply one that embodies Libra traits. This could also be, now in some cases, about really putting a lot of energy perhaps into trying to scope out hidden adversaries at this time. It could be a time where you may be even angry in some isolated cases at some kind of Libra mental illness, but this could be very isolated, of course, something that may be connected with relationships, whether it could be whatever it is when people can be need relationships compulsively, or something where or maybe where it could actually be where you might go the opposite way, or whatever it may be, which would be averse to relationships, whether it be like a social anxiety situation. But the thing about this too, this could also be about injecting a lot of energy into Libra-like things in private and solitude and seclusion at this time, such as art, which could be a wide divergence of things such as graphic art, design, sculpting, drawing, painting, something with the law. It could be anything that could be Libra related at this time. It could be like just doing even like not just something connected with art, but there could be legal matters or that you may be doing that are in your privacy and are in solitude and seclusion at this time. And also putting a lot of energy, in some cases balance energy, even distribution, into helping those that are less fortunate than yourself, such as the impoverished, the oppressed, the homeless, and the hungry. You might be, when I say balance energy, it might be into a number of people that might be in that kind of predicament. So, or one or more of those predicaments that I described. So, anyway. Well, the next thing up is Jupiter will be in Sagittarius still, so the second house is what will be emphasized and highlighted. So at this time, well, one way this may manifest, this could be really about, as I've stated in previous videos, Jupiter could be rather paradoxical, it could be very strongly benign and benevolent, but it could also have a tendency to enlarge and expand. Now, in some cases, this can enlarge and expand rather reckless, foolhardy, over-optimistic, over-exuberant, self-righteous behavior in matters with income, possessions, resources. It could be even in matters connected with matters with your self-esteem and self-worth, and really you might, this could be a time too where the thing about this is that when you look at Jupiter energy, I mean, again, it could be very positive and auspicious energy. This could be a time too where this could be auspicious for Sagittarius, like money making endeavor, such as doing something with sports or religion, something with the law, publishing, advertising, translation, traveling abroad, anything that could be Sagittarius related. And at this time as well, this could also be very positive and very fortuitous for doing something connected with the outdoors or sports or athletics, which could really factor in as far as your self-esteem and self-worth goes at this time. And anyway, well, the next thing up I want to get at is that when looking at this, well, next thing is Saturn in Capricorn. Saturn will still be in Capricorn, so the third house is what will be emphasized and highlighted. So at this time, well, this can manifest in a number of ways, Scorpio. Well, first of all, you might be dealing some restrictions and limitations in your communications. You might be thinking maybe becoming a little bit more despondent and melancholy, more so than usual. This could be, I mean, given the third house is our rational mind, and of course Capricorn could be very depressive energy, and Saturn and Capricorn both, I should say. It could also be about a lot of laborious and consistent communications at this time. Communications might seem like they require more laborious effort, more so than usual. You may also find yourself at this time taking care of a sickly or debilitated sibling, cousin, or neighbor. It could be something Capricorn related, such as something with the knees, the bones, the joints, the hamstrings, and maybe making you feel somewhat despondent and melancholy. This could also be about taking more responsibility in matters with short journeys. It could also be a time too where you might be really having some kind of it could be some restrictions and limitations in matters with your short journeys, such as matters with local transportation like your vehicle. At this time there can be some mechanical issues, and now especially if this is something, let's say for example, if this is making an adverse aspect, say to your natal sun, depending on aspects, a lot of it can be predicated on that in terms of whether you might be having issues with a vehicle or not, if you do have one. So anyway, well, the next thing, and also older people might figure more prominently in as far as you learning, assimilating information at this time, or even in terms of, I mean, this could also be about responsibility to make perhaps things that, or I should say maybe even people you knew from your early education at this time. So anyway. Next thing up, Uranus will be in Taurus still, so the seventh house is what will be emphasized and highlighted. So at this time, well, one way this may manifest, Scorpio might be dealing with some unusual, stubborn, obstinate behavior from a grandmother. It could be someone your significant other, someone you're in a business partnership with. This could also be about some kind of, I mean, in some cases, some unusual forms of competition, or even at this time about how even Taurus friendships, they could be Taurus, Sun, Moon, or Ascendant people, or simply ones that embody Taurus characteristics that might figure more prominently in, it could be legal matters, it could be in doing things together, collaborating with you on projects. anything that could be seventh house related competition. It could also be a time too where you might, if you're unattached Scorpio, this could be a time where you might marry a foreigner, or it could be somebody in some Uranus type profession, such as something with aerospace, astronomy, astrology, some esoteric subject, innovation, computers, electronics. Hold on a moment, people. Sorry about that, I'm back. But anyway, so the thing about this too is it could also be a time where this could be a period too where you might be dealing with some disruptions in your relationship situation with a marriage partner, significant other, if applicable. You might be also at this time, some cases, well, this could also be about dealing, seventh house could be a grandmother as well. You might be dealing with some, again, some unusual behavior from one, or as I stated before, unusual, stubborn, obstinate behavior from a grandmother, from a marriage partner, significant other, someone you're in a business connection with. So anyway. Well, next thing up, Neptune will be in Pisces still, so the fifth house is what will be emphasized and highlighted. Now, at this time, well, Scorpio may be dealing with some deceptive and duplicitous behavior from a child, from a lover at this time. This could be a time, too, where you might become interested in something sports related, something like something that requires fantasy blending in with sports, such as fantasy football or hypothetical sports matchups, such as going on to whatifsports.com, and you could have simulated computer matchups between sports teams of the past, such as playing like the 1975 Reds against the 1927 Yankees, things of that nature. This could be a time too when you're talking about Neptune energy. It could be a time wherever Neptune is in a chart when it's in its transit. It could indicate where we might feel more lethargic or lackadaisical, where we feel more like relaxing, daydreaming, and fantasizing as opposed to actually doing. So it could be a time where you might feel more like doing that in terms of as far as relaxing and being stagnant, as opposed to doing in matters connected with lovers, with children, even things that are enjoyable, your hobbies or creative endeavors, whether it could be art or what have you, and even attaining personal popularity. And especially if this is making an adverse aspect to your natal sun, your Mars, or your ascendant, that can increase that propensity for that. But on a positive end, this could also manifest in some cases as Neptune, like things of amusement and enjoyment, such as photography, chemistry, the metaphysical, which includes astrology, spirituality, poetry, dancing, anything that could be Neptune related. And also, sadly, in some cases, this could be about the dissipation or dissolving of a connection with a child, a lover, personal popularity, and anyway, and a lot of that could be predicated and dependent on aspects. This makes the points in your chart. If it makes an adverse aspect to Saturn, that could even increase that propensity for perhaps some kind of loss or restriction and limitation. Or Saturn is about sorrow and sadness and despondency, so you understand what I'm saying. So that could be an example where that could even increase a propensity for some kind of dissolving or dissipation or loss in connection with something fifth house related. Now, last but not least, Pluto will be in Capricorn still, so the third house is what will be emphasized and highlighted. Now, I know a lot of you don't want me to say the dreaded D word, but you know I'm going to anyway. Some cases this could be about the actual or literal death of a sibling, a cousin, a neighbor. And being in Capricorn, though it's generational, this could be causing more despondency and feeling more melancholy and even more sad than most cases. This could also be a time where you might be transforming your communication in some way, whether it could be something in an extreme case like using like some kind of like a voice, some kind of device that enables you to talk better. If there is something that where you have some something surgical done, where you're using some other device in order to speak or what have you, or whatever it might be, or trying to talk or trying to communicate in through other means, or even if it's learning some other language. It could also be a time too where you could be dealing with upheavals and power struggles in some cases, with siblings, with cousins, with neighbors, people you may have known from your early education. And could also be a time too where you might find yourself communicating about Pluto type subjects at this time, such as astrology, the occult, supernatural, matters with transformation, matters that are associated with death, things that are mysterious, things connected with surgery, deep subjects. It could be a time where you're doing a lot of more deep thinking and communicating about things that are very light. Might not go for you at this time. You really want to communicate about subjects, all likely in a very deep matter, such as learning astrology deeply, not things that are superficial, or learning superficial or lightly at this time, or communicating in that manner. So anyway, people, that'll conclude this YouTube astrological segment for my Scorpio October 2019 horoscope forecast part 2 of 2. Stay tuned next time where I'll be giving you my Sagittarius October 2019 horoscope forecast part 1 of 2. Until next time, people, Edwin Learnard saying stay well.